Phoenix Suns have narrowed down their coaching search to a couple of different guys. And honestly, it's not the list that I exactly thought this team was going to do, but it does seem like they're actually moving in the right direction. There's a few people when it comes to this Phoenix Suns coaching search who are just frustrated, just looking for a reason to be mad. I totally understand if you have watched this show long enough that you need to hold this team accountable. This team has been run just very poorly over the past couple of seasons. Ever since Mat Ishbia showed up, I gave him grace, thinking he would learn from his mistakes, but he just hasn't yet. And we're moving into year 3 technically. Technically, it's year 2.5. But we're in year 3, if I'm not mistaken, of Mat Ishbia. Year 4. Potentially. But either way, the numbers don't exactly matter. Mat Ishbia should have learned from his mistakes by now, or at least shown a pattern of fixing them, and not just doubling and tripling down on things that don't work. Sure, I might have been in on Bradley Beal as well. You might have been in on Bradley Beal as well, given the fact the Suns didn't give up much for him. And moving on, not just from that, but Tyus Jones, I thought it was a good pickup as well, even though I said on this show multiple times, it's not going to fix all the Suns' problems because their biggest problems is not at point guard. This is not the early 2000s Phoenix Suns. It's not the same way basketball is played. A point guard just doesn't matter that much. The wing position matters more. The center position matters more. And a point guard that handles the ball and just distributes, that's not the way the NBA goes now. And so the Phoenix Suns have pulled out a couple of candidates. And this is the first time that I believe Mat Ishbia and the Phoenix Suns have learned from their mistakes. It's not a pattern yet unless you do it multiple times. It's not a trend unless you do it multiple times. And the 5 head coaching candidates, and we'll leave the one towards the end that is pissing off a lot of Suns fans. But the 5 coaching candidates, Mike Inori, who's known as a big personality, not so sure if that's what he's known for, a big personality, if that's going to clash well with the Phoenix Suns star players. But I still think more than qualified for the job. Under Chris Finch, was basically the head coach during last year's playoff run because Chris Finch broke his leg during that same Phoenix Suns series. Dave Bliss, you're not going to take something from Oklahoma City? I mean, you're not going to take a top assistant from Mark Daigneault? I mean, let's just be fair. The guy is clearly qualified to be here. Has a relationship with Kevin Durant. Sean Sweeney is the only one on this list that I'm just not exactly sure about. My guy Brendan Clean from Locked On Phoenix Suns is very into Sean Sweeney, but I'm not so sure if I'm into that defensive first kind of player, especially when your best offensive player, that's not what he does. It's not to say that the team doesn't need to play better defensively, but I think you need to lean into your strengths. But still, more than qualified for the job. Chris Quinn, former player, been under the Heat culture, worked his way up through that organization over the last 10 seasons, more than deserving. And then finally, the one that's annoyed everyone. Jordan Ott, not the lead assistant for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That would be my guy, Johnny Bryant. Michigan State, and again, the only non-lead assistant. That's what's pissed people off because he's got a Michigan State connection. Guys, the issue with Brian Gregory that pissed all of us off was because he was not qualified for the job. He's still not qualified for the job. And so I understand me and other people getting frustrated about the Phoenix Suns hiring a guy who legitimately has no experience in the NBA level outside of 1 year where he just worked in player development. It's not like he was some guy that was carrying this team in any capacity. But here's the, like when you looked at Brian Gregory's coaching experience, a lot of it was teams in college you have never heard of, one NCAA tournament win. Here's Jordan Ott's experience. He's been in the NBA since 2013. 2013 and 2016, video coordinator under Mike Budenholzer. 2016 and 2022, assistant coach under Kenny Atkinson, Jacques Vaughn, and Steve Nash. 2022 to 2024, assistant coach under Darvin Ham with the Los Angeles Lakers. 2024 to now, assistant coach under Kenny Atkinson once again. And here's what I would say to that. Very plainly this. Look at Jordan Ott's experience and then look at Brian Gregory's. One is not like the other. So you can get frustrated if Jordan Ott gets the job, but don't just try to tell me it's Mat Ishbia hiring his buddies. Jordan Ott and Mat Ishbia didn't go to college together. They legitimately just have a Michigan State connection. And guys, I hate to break it to you. There's a reason why I had to go and start my own show. There's a reason why I saw the avenues closing for me from working at ESPN or working at Fox Sports. I'm not anyone's nephew. Combined with the experience, I don't have those two things. Well, experience, sure I do. But I'm not anyone's nephew. I'm no one's friend of the boss. I hate to break it to you, but this isn't just the sports world. This is how life works. If you're someone that gets a job that isn't McDonald's, you probably knew someone, or at least had a lead into that job. People feel comfortable with people that they know. And if they have the experience, what do I care? So just getting upset with the Phoenix Suns to get upset with the Phoenix Suns is really lazy. And it's not me defending Mat Ishbia. What has he done right over the last couple of seasons? The difference is I look at Brian Gregory and I say, colleges that you've never heard of as the head coach of basketball, never coached a premier or even semi-premier basketball program. All of his experiences in college, and you're telling me that now he can run a Phoenix Suns front office because he was an assistant coach under Tom Izzo? That you can get pissed off about. What I don't think is fair is looking at the Phoenix Suns coaching search now. It's been extremely extensive. Every single guy in the finalist list, or what we presume will be the finalist list according to John Gambadoro. The Suns haven't actually put out a list yet, but Gambo's clearly spot on most of the time. If any one of those guys gets the job, there should be no complaining or hand-wringing over players, over coaches' experience because you don't like them because of a certain college they went to. Brian Gregory's one thing. He was inexperienced then. He's inexperienced now. He shouldn't have the job as Phoenix Suns general manager. That was unfair. But you can never allow the Suns to earn your trust back if you're just looking at where people went to college. What if Jordan Ott is awesome? And given all of his experience, he's more than qualified. He's paid his dues, a decade plus in the NBA. You're just complaining at that point. You're just bleeping and moaning. Because Jordan Ott's ability to coach in the NBA, you're going to get upset for the Suns from taking a coach off the coaching staff of the number 1 seeded Cleveland Cavaliers, who would have beat the Indiana Pacers had half their team been healthy. I encourage you to allow the Suns to earn your trust back and not just look for any reason to think that they're going to do the wrong thing. I am the president of the Go After the Phoenix Suns and all Arizona sports teams fan club when they deserve it. But this just feels like reaching. Any one of these guys would be a very capable head coach in the NBA. And all of them are more than qualified for the job. So just getting upset or getting frustrated over what the Phoenix Suns are doing is just complaining, and it's nonsense. Let's say Jordan Ott gets the job. There is no argument that you can make that is the same as Brian Gregory, where he's just not qualified. A decade plus working himself up through the NBA. He has the same qualifications as anyone else that we presume to be a finalist for this head coaching job. You're just complaining at this point because you're looking for a reason to be mad. I encourage you to not do that. It's a pretty crappy way. It's a pretty sad way to be a sports fan. Now, if he's bad, sure, hold him accountable. But the fact that he got his degree at Michigan State, I don't think weighs as much as you think it does. Or should be so frustrated with. People get hired all the time because they know someone. The issue is not that. It's the experience.